I'm here at the Polyglot conference in Taipei. There are hundreds of polyglots here who speak so many languages, so let's go meet them. I'm now here with Gary Dale from the US, who currently lives in Thailand, and he has learned lots of languages. Gary Dale, what would you say is the language that you've had the most difficulty with?
Actually, it depends on a lot of different things because, don't want to scratch my nose, but I would say in being able to remember the vocabulary and everything would probably be Malagasy from Madagascar.
Malagasy?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Because somehow or another, everybody has their own way, but somehow or another, that one doesn't stick. You know, the words sound very similar to me, so they slip away. You know what I mean? Grammar-wise, probably, you know, many years ago I tried to do Cherokee, and it's Native American language, and they have very hefty grammar. I hear that Arabic is very, very difficult. No, I'm playing around with that. Yeah, those would be the two that I've had to struggle with.
Okay. So do you tend to learn smaller languages? You mentioned Malagasy and Cherokee, which I've not met many other people that have studied those.
Well, Cherokee was out of interest because you know, I grew up in an area between the eastern western Cherokee tribes. I mean, there's a huge part of land there, but that was kind of an interest when I was younger. And then I was able to find some books on that at one of the local universities in a town up the road. And Malagasy, the reason why I studied that is because I was going to be at a ports conference in Madagascar, and I knew a year in advance, so I thought I would learn some before I went there. You know, some of us, if we know we're going to be somewhere next year or whatnot, we try to prepare ourselves that way. And so that's where that came from. It wasn't that, you know, I had this burning desire, I've got to learn that language or anything like that. Wow. You know, you get caught up in it sometimes. So.
And would you say, because Malagasy is an Austronesian language, so it's related to
Indonesian,
Malay, Tagalog. Have you ever learned Indonesian, Malay?
I've spent a little bit of time on Malay, and I find that one comparatively easy. It doesn't, you know, I'm not perfect in it, but it doesn't have the how should I say? I mean, the words aren't as slippery. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, word for snake in Madagascar is bibilava, and then the next word's going to sound very similar to that. You know, and so it's hard to keep the words straight. But I don't struggle with a lot of languages like that. You know, you were asking me what was a hard one, and so those came to mind. I mean, I could probably think longer and come up with something else too.
But would you say, because Malagasy, of course, has been separated from the Austronesian languages in Southeast Asia for many centuries, when you learned Malagasy, did you recognize certain words, certain patterns where you can tell this is similar to Malay?
Well, they had a lot of things that you don't see, to me, in the other Austronesian languages. Like, for instance, they would, I call it, you know, swallowing the vowel at the end of a word. Like Malagasy is spelled Malagasy, but they call it Malagas. They drop the Y, but sometimes they pronounce the Y. And, you know, and a lot of them use the French one, Malagache. So, and I think the French spelled it that way because it sounded a little bit like Malagas. So, if you get Swadesh lists and put them together, or you know, word charts and put them together, you can see the relations. It's very related. But to me, it doesn't sound like. When you hear Tagalog, you hear Cebuano, you hear Malay, Javanese, they all sound similar to each other, but Malagasy does not sound exactly that cadence to me. It's different. But it's been a long time far away from the others.
So do you generally do you try to get a basic knowledge and understanding in a lot of languages? Because you mentioned you've heard Cebuano, Tagalog. Like, are there a
Yes.
lot of languages in which you have some understanding?
Some of those I gotten because I've traveled to all those places. I mean, all those places we named, I've been to them, some of them several times. Like I said, in the Philippines, I have 2 offices there. So, although I haven't been going a lot lately, but I used to go to Philippines a lot. And also, if you see this conference we're at is a Polyglot conference, but I always say that I'm a linguaphile, or because I like to study how they're related, and I like to study the history through the languages and such like that. So it's not just for the speaking part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it came from several things when I was growing up. You know, I grew up in a small place in Arkansas. And the last place that I lived before I left Arkansas, I went into the Navy. It was about 10 miles out of the town where I grew up, which is about 16 kilometers. And, you know, for those who don't know miles. And so I wanted to see the world. I wanted to, you know, go around and see all these things. And I read quite a bit when I was a kid. So this was all a tie-in. So,
yeah, interesting.
In fact, Ladin was one of your language is one of the ones that I always kind of thought I would love to meet a guy from there, and I didn't know until today that was yes.
Wow.
I've been in Trieste, and I thought I would hear some Friulian, but I just heard Italian when I was there, and I've always been interested in Romansh, and even though I've been to Switzerland a few times, I've never been to that part. I mean, I've been to Mount Titlis in St. Gallen, but that's pretty far north of that, you know. So.
Wow, interesting.
And I've read into your Wikipedia.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, Ladin Wikipedia. Yeah, because I look at those things and see if I can figure it out. You know, when I look at it, you know, what I know in Spanish and what I know in Catalan and what I know in Italian and all these kinds of things, I try to see if I can pick it apart and understand it, and I can pretty much on Ladin.
Really?
Yeah. I can sort of read it.
Yeah. I guess that most words are are Romance words, and therefore based on French,
on
Italian, and Latin, you could understand them. But there are often words that are quite different that also have Latin origin, but it's maybe not very immediately clear what they mean because they have changed so much over time.
In your presentation, I believe that was a place name that was written up there.
Yeah.
And when I looked at it, you know what it reminded me of? Albanian.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of those umlauts over the E's and things like that, you know.
2 points.
Yeah.
The umlaut.
Yeah.
That's a letter that we use a lot in Latin, and in Latin it's used for the sound and I think in Albanian it's used for the same sound for a schwa kind of or so. Yeah.
Maybe there's an Italian relation with that because you know, Italy, one of them's in Italy and the other is sort of across, you know, in the Adriatic from Italy down near Bari across. So
could be, but I'm not sure because Latin, you know, has been part of Italy for the last 100 years. But before, the region that speaks Latin was part of Austria-Hungary, and I'm not sure when the idea of using the E umlaut started.
It could be totally non-related. Totally non-related.
Yeah.
Or maybe it could be one copied. You know, who knows?
Yeah. So would you say that every time when you travel somewhere, like let's say you now get a trip, you know that in 3 months you'll have to travel to Myanmar, would that be for you a reason that, okay, I'm going to start learning Burmese now?
Absolutely.
Okay. So every time you travel somewhere, you learn the language?
If I know I have enough time ahead and 3 months is a good mark, I'll try to learn something in it for sure.
What about if you travel to 2 countries? Like I'm now here in Taiwan, and after this, I'm going to travel to Thailand. So I wanted to learn to improve my Mandarin, but also to learn Thai. But I felt like, I cannot do both, like either one or the other.
Well, you can give some time. I mean, who was it? Barry Farber said that you have some languages that are your wives and some languages are your girlfriends, right? I mean, I don't know if that's an easy analogy to understand. I'm not that way, you know. But you know, you can make Thai a girlfriend for a little while. And the best person to check on with Thai is Stu J, you know. Stuart, he is, to me, he's a genius. I think I think he's great. But he knows more about Thai than pretty much any foreigner you'll meet in Thailand. So he's a guy to follow if you're interested in Thai phonetics or words or anything to do with that. And he's brilliant when he speaks it too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'll definitely talk to him.
Yeah, pull him aside.
Yeah, I'll put him aside. Would you say that you have a specific method you use when you start learning a language, or do you just improvise? Is it different every time?
I have lots of tricks that I use for myself, and it's things that you pick up all over. I do comprehensible input a lot, but I also do mnemonics, and I also do my own. When I go to a place, I pick apart signs. And I try to look for patterns and things like that. When I say signs, I mean it could be anything that's written.
Yeah, road signs.
Road signs and advertisements are the best because they're implicating something. They're trying to send across a message that's also visual, generally visual, sometimes audible as well. And then you can make out things. You can learn a lot just by looking at advertisements and things like that.
And you mentioned the mnemonics.
Mnemonics, yeah.
How do you use mnemonics?
I don't go as far, and there's a friend of mine who will probably be mad when he hears me say this. Anthony Mativier is one of the best, and he does the Loki, the memory palace, but I'm too lazy to do that because I want to do it like on the spot if I see something. So I will make up something on the spot, and it doesn't necessarily have a place, but I will keep it until I don't need to use it anymore. So if I learn that word in for a tree, right, in Spanish is arbol, arbol, right? So I will think of maybe the letter R as a tree, and it's bowling. And I'll do that until I don't need that anymore. I also do space repetition. I mean, I do a little bit of all of it, but I intertwine it. So I maybe today I spend if I'm looking at something, I'll spend my time trying to figure out everything that I don't know about it and the words that I don't know, and then I'll read it over, for the comprehensible input. And then tomorrow I might have had all those words in spatial repetition. And I do use link a lot, L-I-N-G-Q, you know it. So I do use that a lot. I think it's a great tool for this kind of thing. I know it's built for, I know the guys who started Link, the Kaufmans, Steve Kaufman and his son, I know that they built it for comprehensible input, but I also use its other tools as well. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Thanks a lot for this talk. And
All right, man.
thanks a lot.
All right.